David Wardrop from the United Nations Association, and we've met today in the very same place where the United Nations General Assembly first met. And we've met to record the contribution by the ambassadors to London who are marking their support for the Olympic Truce, this wonderful idea that sport is more important than war, and therefore for truce to enjoy sport, we should lay down our arms. And we've had ambassadors from many, many countries here speaking about their support for the truce. We've had examples from Britain and from Somalia, how people are working with youngsters, boys and girls, to talk about development and peace. And we've listened to examples of what has happened in the UN 66 years ago. And now we're going home and we feel excited, we're meeting, we know how to talk about peace and development, and we're all going to meet again in 1,000 different ways for the benefit of all humankind. What is my message to the public, to all people? It is, if we work together in peace, we can achieve so much. And that applies all over the world, in all 194 countries, starting here in London, and I'm very pleased that TVapex is a major part in this programme, and we're looking forward to working with TVapex as it develops its multicultural programmes. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this historic building as we set out today to link with an important chapter in the history books of all our nations. In this, we will ourselves witness history for reasons I will explain later. But to January 1946 and the first meeting of the UN General Assembly, outside this building, crowds were 10 deep, waiting and watching the foreign statesmen arrive. They had seen the collapse of the League of Nations. They had endured a long war. Now, on their doorstep, the countries of the world's greatest military alliance, some well known, others but tiny countries in a distant continent, all here, entering the doors that you did from Storey's Gate.
147 days after the close of the war that cost more than 20 million casualties and left countless millions homeless. And on the 26th anniversary of the ratification of the ill-fated League of Nations Covenant, the nations met this afternoon in the blue and gold auditorium of the Blue and Gold Auditorium. Blue and Gold Auditorium, the Central Hall of Westminster, for the first meeting of the United Nations General Assembly. Greeting them on behalf of Britain, Prime Minister Attlee told them frankly that they would succeed in their new venture only if they brought the same sense of urgency, the same self-sacrifice, and the same willingness to subordinate sectional interests with which they fought the war.
Thanks to the generosity of athletes and national Olympic committees, in 2012 the Giving is Winning campaign is expected to create its own Olympic record by collecting more than 100,000 items of clothing. So the 2012 Games will have a legacy, not just for Londoners, but also for some of the most vulnerable people around the world living in refugee camps. Thank you.
It gives me great hope to see such diversity today, and especially the fact that religions are taking such a key role in the United Nations International Peace Day, which is falling on Friday the 21st of September. And it's very fitting that it's Friday, and because of this I think that the Islamic community is also taking a key interest. And what we're seeing is that really all over the world Muslims are coming together, and especially in London, twinning mosques, centers, organizations. So what we're seeing is across various continents, in India, Sri Lanka, Nigeria, Ghana, United States, Thailand, various centers are twinning with mosques and institutions in the UK to broaden and to strengthen bonds, human bonds, and at the same time to promote peace.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima and this is Mark, and we're part of a project called Truce 2020, and we live in the London Borough of Newham. Newham is a multicultural and a deprived area, which can mean a lot of conflict and antisocial behaviour amongst young people. Truce 2020 is a partnership project initiated in 2007 by two complementary conflict resolution charities, Conflict and Change and Peace Direct. Truce 2020 gives young people skills to handle conflict and prevent violence in their community.
Truce has worked with 5,000 young people in the communities in Newham and has 220 graduates of the Truce 2012 project. We've also collaborated with police on many campaigns such as the Yo Stop Flow campaign, and represented the voice of young people locally, nationally, and internationally.
At Peace Unlimited, we work with young people on our We Are Human First workshops, encouraging and enabling them to explore, express and share what peace means to them through poetry, raps, short films, music and art. In our workshops, young people are introduced to the Olympic Truce, alongside the Christmas Truce 1914 and the Global Truce, the United Nations International Day of Peace and Non-Violence.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mustafa Chama. Like Mo Farah, I'm a British citizen with Somali parentage. I teach in South London. I'm a member of Welsh 18 Somalia, a diaspora organization working for development and peace in Somalia. Our title, G18, reflects the 18 regions in Somalia. We have links with all of them. We are not clan-based. We have working groups on piracy, women, business, the environment, and youth. I chair the youth working group. My fellow chairman of the piracy group and a colleague are now visiting coastal villages in Somalia, arguing that better health, education, and youth training facilities will always trump living on the crumbs from the pirate chief's table.
I'm delighted to be here today to represent the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. I'd like to thank the United Nations Association and David Wardrop in particular for holding this spectacular event in Central Hall, which is such an important place in the United Nations history. It's difficult to think of a more fitting venue to celebrate the ideals of the Olympic Truce, just halfway through London's Olympic summer. It's wonderful to see so many distinguished ambassadors demonstrating their nation's support alongside us for the Olympic Truce. Their letters today will be joined by one from Mr. Bellingham, the Foreign Office Minister with responsibility for promoting the Olympic Truce in the London 2012 context globally.
My name is Alexander Yakovenko. Your Excellencies, dear veterans of the peacekeeping, United Nations peacekeeping, we are really proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Olympic Truce is based on the ancient Greek tradition, dating back to the 9th century BC. Its adoption followed a prophecy of the Oracle of Delphi as a way to put an end to the world wars. The Olympic Truce was announced before and during the Olympic Games to ensure athletes and spectators could travel safely to the Games and peacefully return to their respective countries. Today we have airplanes, but still, this is the case. The Olympic movement was re-established in 1896 to help ensure a peaceful future for the humanity by raising awareness of sports. Unfortunately, it failed to prevent the two world wars. However, there can be no doubt that today, sport and sportive events like Olympic and Paralympic Games help eliminate obstacles and unite people of different nationalities, political views and religions under the banner of the equality, understanding and mutual respect.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me start by thanking Ambassador Al-Hassan for your efforts to get the fellow ambassadors to contribute letters for this historic document and record. I'd like to also thank all the performers and speakers who we've heard today for the presentations that we've had, and to the UN veterans who quite literally and metaphorically carry the UN flag for all of us. Thank you.
I am delighted to accept these letters of support for the Olympic Truce, and they will be lodged with the archives, and they will be on show from time to time, and I'm sure if you came and asked to see them, you would be welcome to see them. It is good to be here again 60 odd years later from that first meeting. It's important to mark and note these sorts of historical traditions, and the Olympic Truce is such a stunning one. Laying down arms, holding hands, because you certainly can't hold hands if you've got a weapon in them. It helps us prevent conflict and build peace. Let's all act, and let's remember. And we're glad for this.
Do you think it'll work? Yes! Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3!
My name is Mohammed Hassan. I am the chairman and the co-founder of an organization, a local organization called Somali Youth Vision, that is operating in Somalia. And I was part of this presentation. I was invited to come over here and to tell the good stories about our organization's good job in Somalia. And I'm so proud that I have such an audience, a prominent audience, to listen to me and share with me this wonderful information and news of our organization, that its primary work is to disarm youngsters and to encourage them to go back to school, to play the game, and to be involved in peace building in a country that has never seen peace in the last 22 years. And I'm so happy that so many audiences in this hall appreciated and liked the good work that SYV does. And thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Councillor Frances Stainton, Deputy Mayor of Hammersmith and Fulham. I have been given the honour to be invited here by David Wardrop and Prince Mosim Ali Khan. Great believer in United Nations and in the good that it does, and knowing that there were 51 diplomats here today, ambassadors, that shows the strength of feeling that we still have for United Nations. And I'm also very attracted to the idea of how the arts, music, can contribute to communication around the world. And I much admired Daniel Barenboim's taking the Beethoven symphonies around the world and finishing here in London with the 9th Symphony. These are various ways that we can communicate. We want to communicate with the young. We particularly see in the Olympic Games the fabulous mood that stretched across the world, and that is, if that could just be a key for United Nations, if we all had that joy and commitment that we saw in the Olympic Games, I think the world would be a much safer place. Thank you, all of you, and good luck to all of you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ahmed al-Shaybani. I am from Libya, the founder of the first political party post our glorious 17th of February revolution. It's called the Democratic Party. I am very honored to have been invited to this distinguished gathering to represent the Olympic Truce. As a Libyan citizen, it gives me a great pleasure to convey a message of peace on behalf of my Libyan brothers and sisters, and we very much see things into the future that would encompass a collective vision of harmony and peace, and we endorse the current UN initiatives in Libya and in other places in the Middle East to bring peace. 21st of September is International Peace Day, and we are going to be working with different initiatives and programs to promote peace in different parts of Libya. And at the same time, it is a very special historical moment for us to be at the Methodist Hall, where the first UN meeting was held. And at the same time, I feel that we are one human family under the Lord, and our message is to create a universal peace movement that would oversee a collective citizenship towards a greater harmony among human citizens. Once again, I thank TVapex for this interview, and I very much look forward to seeing you in Libya.
Good evening to you. Thank you very much indeed. At least I can say that I'm known as the Prince Mohsen Ali Khan from Hyderabad. Today's event was a wonderful and historical event, no doubt about that. This place, this building is very important to me in my life. My life, the first thing is the peace and love and affection. And this is what we're talking about, United Nations efforts, activities. Maybe sometime we make a lot of mistakes. Maybe sometime we are not 100% to satisfy the people of the nations. This place is so important because the first time I received my honorary doctorate in this building. So during my speech in front of the professors and students and the parents, I have suggested, that what a wonderful place we are, and we must recognize this is the historical place where United Nations has been established.